One of the things I think is important is it's kind of a hybrid group, meaning that it's not fully a process group, but it's not fully a educational group. There will be an agenda. There will be kind of a guideline, a direction that you're going to be leading the men through, because you are going to be the one primarily leading these groups. And it's also going to be a place where men can bring their questions. We're going to practice what it is to check in. We're going to work with men to grow on their self-awareness and to also check in about how their recovery is going. So it really will be a great opportunity to learn a little bit about what it means to bring my recovery to a group, as well as having direction and agenda in what it is that the group is going to cover.
Welcome to the Faithful and True podcast. I'm Randy Everett, your co-host, and as usual, we are here with our host, Dr. Greg Miller. Greg, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
Well, Greg, the responses have been so strong to have us bring back the clinical director of Faithful and True, Jim Varm.
I love that introduction.
Yeah.
I should just record it so I can listen to it in the
will.
morning.
I've been working on
Could
it.
be a ringtone.
It was. Jim always calls me and says, before I go to bed tonight, will you tell me something good about
That's
myself?
exactly right.
That's exactly
I need
right.
that nightly affirmation.
Right, exactly. Well, Jim, we're happy to have you back with us today.
Yeah, excited to be here for sure.
So we have, speaking of excitement, we have a new program that we're going to be beginning, and Jim is here to tell us about it. It is the Workshop Aftercare program. And so you set the table for us and let us know all about it.
Thanks, Randy. Well, first of all, I'm excited because we got a few things coming up, and then I'll get into this. But I know, Greg, you and I are going to be talking at the AACC coming up
World Conference.
And
Big
so
deal.
it's my first time speaking with you, and you've heard me say I think you're the best speaker in the country, so I'm excited.
That is very kind. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the research project that we did here at Faithful and True several years ago, and then the implication that it has for people who work with men and women who struggle with sexual addiction. And so, yeah, we're really excited about being a part of that. And for those that don't know, the AACC is the American Association of Christian Counselors. And so we're going to be talking to therapists, counselors, pastors, and lay people who are interested in providing care, maybe through their local church. So we see it as a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It will be. It will be.
And that's going to be held in September, I think the 23rd through the 26th in Dallas. Or not Dallas.
Nashville.
Nashville. Yep.
That's right.
That'll be
and
fun.
Debbie and Elizabeth Griffin will be speaking as well at that conference, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we're going to be talking about today is a new opportunity that we're providing. And probably for those of you that are familiar with Faithful and True, you know, one of the things that we offer are workshops. And so every month we do a workshop for men. And as the director of the men's workshop, one of the questions that I often get is, you know, what is the aftercare? What are some of the options? And we have many. We can provide groups for men. We can provide therapy, counseling for individuals. We can work with couples. And yet one of the things that we have been talking about doing is providing a small group experience specifically for men who have been to our workshop on a short-term basis. So it would be a 3 or 4 week experience after your workshop where some of the material that we went through you'll be reminded of, and other things that you may be challenged in. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about the idea of where this came from and what we're hoping to do with it.
Yeah, well, the aftercare program is, a lot of, it's been kind of common in the substance abuse arena in the sense of, when someone's gone to inpatient treatment, one of the things that'll kind of create a bridge from inpatient treatment to, an outpatient type of setting is what they call an aftercare. It's a little bit more intense than maybe just an outpatient therapy. But it's important because you come in, you go through this very intense, kind of work like we do at the workshop. And, you're such a good teacher. You go through so much. It's like drinking, water from a fire hose. And it's a good way of bringing it all together over a 3 week period of time. And, as guys leave here, we talk a lot about what are next steps and what's recovery look like. And, as they begin to develop that recovery plan and their recovery team, they can be assured that they have that support during that, that post 3 weeks after the workshop.
Right. One of the things to note is this will be a Zoom group. And so therefore, men from any place in the country or around the world, if the time works for them, they're able to participate. And it really is kind of just solidifying some of the things that they've been exposed to. And what we know is some of the men who come to the workshop have been in recovery for a while, and many of them go back to resources that are already established. Some of the men who come, this experience is brand new to them. We're talking about resources, and it's like a brand new language. The benefit of this is it doesn't matter if you come with resources or without resources. This is a specific experience for a short term that allows you to internalize the things that you've been exposed to. It gives you some direction, some clarity, and it also gives you some encouragement in the context of a community. And so I do think that for those men who come and they're wondering what their next step could be, this is a great option.
Yeah. And I think it's really important because a lot of the men that come maybe have come here after a discovery and things at home or their environments at home, aren't all that stable. And they have this, still this connection with some of the men that they've worked here with and us as therapists to engage as they, kind of go back into everyday life, if you will. And that's going to be a big part of it is how does this recovery fit into my everyday life? And so during that 3 weeks, we'll be addressing some of those things.
We want it to be very practical. I like the idea of integration, that you come to Minnesota for 3 days. It's very intense. It's very focused. And what we know is if I leave everything I'm exposed to in Minnesota, it's not going to make a big difference in my life back home. And so we do want to take the principles that we're introducing men to, very practical steps, and begin to integrate it into their life back home. And it provides an opportunity for men who have questions, who have never been a part of a group before and kind of wondering what that experience could be. It's just a great opportunity to experience that and get some practical guidance on what it looks like to be a part of a group.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that I want them to experience too. And we do give them a little bit of small group, obviously a small group experience when they come to the workshop, but this will be even more of a part of what that might look like if they were to join a group, an ongoing group at Faithful and True. We'll kind of walk them through what that might look like in terms of accountability and being able to be transparent with other men and so forth.
Well, one of the things I think is important is it's kind of a hybrid group, meaning that it's not fully a process group, but it's not fully a educational group. There will be an agenda. There will be kind of a guideline, a direction that you're going to be leading the men through because you are going to be the one primarily leading these groups. And it's also going to be a place where men can bring their questions, and we're going to practice what it is to check in. We're going to work with men to grow on their self-awareness and to also check in about how their recovery is going. So it really will be a great opportunity to learn a little bit about what it means to bring my recovery to a group, as well as having direction and agenda in what it is that the group is going to cover.
Yeah. And like the men experience at the workshop, a big part of the learning is just learning from the other men's stories, so it's just not just strictly focusing in on their own story, but they're hearing, me interacting with the other men about their issues so that, as they go through things like you describe as identifying with, in the other men's stories, they're going to be learning from that as well.
One thing that we will say is this group is for men who have been through our workshop. And what we're going to do is allow men from like the last 3 or 4 months sign up. So if I went to the workshop in March, and in March I wasn't able to participate, all the way into July I would have that opportunity to do that. But we are going to limit how long after a workshop you can participate. We're wanting to get the word out so that there will be those men coming to the workshop that will already know this is there. It's kind of like I'm signing up for the workshop and I want to sign up for the aftercare group. And so we'll have the registration and the opportunity to do that here. What we also know is some men need time to process. They may need some time to clear their schedule. And so in order to do that, we are going to provide some gap in there, some grace where they can sign up for it later. But I do think that one of our goals is we want the workshop to be fresh. For a man who's gone through the workshop a year ago, the information's still helpful, but it's not as fresh and current. And so that's why we're going to put a time limit on how long after you've been to the workshop you can sign up for this group.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And one of the things that you'll see in the paperwork is if you've gone past that, we probably would suggest you come back to the workshop as an alumni before you would want to attend to that group in particular. Mm-hmm. But just the logistical part of it, it'll be Thursday mornings between 8 and 10 a.m. Central Time. And that'll start after the August men's workshop.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's make it clear to everybody that today is kind of the jump start of this brand new aftercare program. So if you're hearing this message for the first time, you haven't missed anything yet.
That's right.
So you get in line or sign up, or as soon as we make that available to everybody out there. It's going to be an exciting new program.
Yeah. August is going to be great because football, as you're aware, Randy, football starts in August. The group starts in. Yeah, really. The Vikings will be playing.
I've heard something about that.
I bet.
Yeah, and we do want men to know that with it starting in August, if you've been a part of the workshop through the summer, even into May or April, and you would like to be a part of this, you're welcome to do that. You can reach out here, get more information about it. We are going to include information about the group on the web page that talks about the workshop. So anyone that is registering can know that this is an option. For those men, and we do have many men who have signed up for the August workshop, if you're hearing this, you can find out more information about it if this is something that you want to participate in. But this is going to become a regular offering that we do. Mm-hmm. And like Jim said, the time has already been determined. And so we want men who want to be a part of this to figure out, how do I change my schedule? Mm-hmm. And the time is in Central Time, and depending on what time zone you live in, that may actually be helpful or make it more challenging. But one of the things that we see is consistency is important. So it will be for 3 weeks following the workshop where you're able to know that for those Thursday mornings, this is the thing that I'm going to be able to be a part of, and it becomes a regular part of your routine.
Yeah. I'm really excited because I think, there's a lot of momentum and energy that comes post-workshop because, I think the most, you could probably attest to this, Randy, because I think you get a lot of the feedback. And I think our most heard thing is it's a life-changing experience, the workshop.
Men go home motivated. And they're looking for what's next, what's my next step. And they're kind of hungry for more information, more direction.
Yeah. And so I think this group, with all that motivation and, energy post-workshop is we just want that to continue just to flow right into their recovery.
Right. I know that some of the men who will hear about this at the workshop and are hearing us talk about it now, there's going to be this thought of, wow, there's no way I could do that. I have to be at work during those times. And what we would say is sometimes we have to be inconvenienced. We have to be uncomfortable in order to make some things happen. Right. So it may be an awkward conversation with your boss to say, for these 3 Thursday mornings, I will get here, I'll be late. Maybe even to have a conversation for those of you that are married to say, you know what, in order to do this workshop, I'm going to have to work late on these days. But we believe here that we do whatever it takes for as long as it takes in order to get free. And so for those of you that are hearing this going, wow, there's no way that would work out for me, we're really going to encourage you to do what you can do to make it happen. Yeah. And the good news is if you need some time to arrange your schedule to participate and you can't go immediately after your workshop, then go a couple of months later and you'll still feel the benefit. One thing to also understand is the workshop experience is basically the same every month. And so one of the great things that happens is even if there are men in your small group that weren't at your particular workshop, they're going to have a shared experience where we teach the same things, the language is the same. So for those of you that are thinking it won't be as valuable if I can't go immediately, absolutely, you can still feel a part of the community. You can bring your experience, and I think you're going to find a lot of meaning in the group.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's the important thing is that's why we're doing it. having that time limit is because people will have that same language because they've been so close to the workshop. But I do like your thought of creating space. I've always kind of thought about it like, if I had knee surgery one time, and I remember, man, now I got to go to physical therapy every Thursday for the next 4 weeks. And I was like, this stinks,
Right.
but I created time to do it. Otherwise, I would have lost that momentum that I did the surgery for in the first place.
Yeah. We have to be willing to give and invest ourselves to those things that matter. And again, I just like this image of the bridge that for the men that come to our workshop, this becomes a bridge that allows them to really integrate it in their, homes and where they live, so that it's not just left here in Minnesota. And we're going to pick out some of the primary things that we talk about and really engage those in such a way that men can practice and integrate that into their lives back home.
Yeah. You may have just actually named the group, Greg, because we were talking about this before we got on. Should we call it the Aftercare Group? I think we might call it the Bridge Group.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because we do want this to be the bridge for men to get back home.
Yeah.
I often get the question, when men are calling about the workshop, what difference can 3 days make? And what I know is that through the research that has been done on our workshop, that those 3 days can really be significant. And so it's actually not taking anything away from the 3 days that a man is here for our workshop. It's actually adding to that. It is enhancing that for the men to really grow in their recovery and get the support that they need.
Yeah. I can just speak from my own experience working here is that, the guys that have come to the workshop just do so much better in recovery. Their recovery is pretty solid after coming to the workshop.
Right.
And
we just want to support that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very good. That's right. Well, this is all kind of new to us because this is a new enhancement of our program here at Faithful and True. And this is why we're so excited about it, because it seems to be an additional addition to the healing powers, the healing experience that we try to provide for the men that come here. So we're quite excited about this new enhancement, and we came up with a new name just in the middle of talking about it. So any finishing touches you want to give to this message, or just invite them to be watching for the start of this?
Yeah, we should be getting information out here in the next couple week and a half or so, and so I'm looking forward to starting this. Grab a cup of coffee early in the morning, and we'll get this group started. And
well, you and I are the first two in the morning, so
Randy will have the coffee flowing.
I'll have the coffee going, and you be ready to lead the group. So that'll be
one thing I would add is there isn't pre-registration for this. And so if you come to the workshop, you can sign up for the group at your workshop.
Yeah.
So we're not limiting the number of people that can participate. Therefore, if you sign up at your workshop, you can start the next Thursday in this group. And we will also have ways to register online and other things that you can do, especially for men that have been a part of the workshop previously. But we'll be talking more about it to the men that come to the workshop and how to participate.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's a lot of flexibility to this new group and this new aftercare program. So
one thing I'm sorry, I will add.
Greg's such a speaker.
Yeah, I
I'll
would
be back next week.
I would emphasize this. Because it is 3 weeks, it is so important that you are there all 3 weeks.
Yes.
Now, we know that things happen and, schedules change. But if you're considering doing this, you're going to get the most out of it if you're committed to all 3 weeks. So for those men that have to clear their schedule, go ahead and plan on clearing their schedule for the 3 weeks.
Yeah, because there will be things that are going to be different each of those 3 weeks that we talk about.
Right.
And so that's exactly right. And they're all three very important things for sure. That's going to be helpful in terms of getting a good start on recovery.
And consistency and continuity are important when you're going through a program like this.
Yeah, and I know I've heard you talk about, Greg, before about, what does it mean to be a good group member, a good member of a community like that. And so I think a big part of that is just showing up.
Absolutely. That level of commitment.
Right. So be watching for that. we will, I'm sure, put notifications on the Faithful and True website. As Jim mentioned earlier, if you go to the workshop pages, there'll be all kinds of information and exposure to this new group starting. So we hope that this news is exciting to you. If you have recently been through the Men's Journey Workshop, we hope that this gives you some added motivation to continue your healing journey. And in the meantime, we hope that as you look for this more information about this event, keep your eyes open for that, because we'll be making those announcements soon. In the meantime, thank you very much for making this announcement today, Jim.
Yeah, you're welcome, Randy.
Glad you guys are so creative about how we can continue to help those who reach out to us for direction. In the meantime, we hope that this coming week will be a week for you that's filled with many blessings and with a great vision.